Hi, everybody. My name is Suzy Wolffe, and I work in the education department at the Baltimore Museum of Art. But as you can see from looking behind me, I am not at the museum. I'm at home, just as you are. So I wonder what you've been doing at home. Have you been doing schoolwork, I'm guessing? And have you been playing any fun games with your family? Well, I thought I'd show you one of my most favorite paintings at the museum, and it shows a girl playing a game. And the title of the painting is called The Game of Knucklebones. And it was painted about 286 years ago by a French artist named Jean Baptiste Chardin. So as we look at it together, if you have any questions that come to mind, just type them below and I'll take a look at them and hopefully can answer them later. So let's take a look at this painting. There is a lot going on in it, but the artist did something wonderful for us so that we can tell what the most important parts in the painting are. And that is that he highlighted them. The things that were important to him, he painted lightly so that our eye is directed right to them. And there's a way we can look for those things. If you close your eyes like this, not all the way, but just enough to squinch them and look at the painting, you'll see some bright areas that were painted lighter than others. Now open your eyes and let's see where those bright areas are, the areas that the artist really wanted us to pay attention to. Well, the first thing I see is the girl's face. Do you see how her face and her chest are bright? We're supposed to look at her, and if we look again, we'll see that her arm has a big highlight on it. And that's important for us to see. And one last thing, do you see what she's thrown up in the air? It's a wooden ball like this that she's thrown up, and it has a huge highlight on it. We're supposed to take a look at that ball, and that ball is important to the game of Knucklebones. Well, look below the girl's elbow, and you'll see 4 squiggly things on the table. And I have to say I had no idea what those 4 things were until I saw this painting for the first time, and someone told me. They are actually knuckle bones, and they come from the heel of a sheep's hoof. And the game is played this way. The girl would toss the ball in the air, and as the ball is in the air, she'll try to grab as many knuckle bones as she can before the ball comes back down and she catches it. So she throws it up, grabs the knuckle bones, and catches the ball. And that's how that game is played. Now, if that game sounds familiar to you, it's because you probably have played it before, or many of you have played it before. And we call it the game of jacks. And today it's played with a rubber ball that looks like this and 10 metal jacks that look like these. But we're going to have fun together at the end of this video, because even if you don't have jacks at home, we're going to use materials from around the house to make a set of jacks so that you can play at home. So we've looked a lot at the game in the painting. Let's turn our attention to the girl, and here's my question for you. We're going to work together to see if we can figure out what this girl's job is. What does she do? Well, the artist has given us clues, so let's look. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that she's wearing a blue apron. What do we think about when we think of a blue apron? What sorts of jobs do people do who wear aprons? Well, one thing that comes to mind is that this person is a cook. But when we look at that apron, do we see any stains on it? We don't. Maybe she's a baker. But if we look at that apron, do we see any white flour stuck to it? We don't. So that tells us she's not a baker and she's not a cook. But let's look closely at the apron again. If you look, one side has fallen down, right? One side of the apron has fallen down, but the other side is pinned up. So let's take a look closely at that pin. And do you see what it is? It's hard to tell, but it's actually a needle. So she has a needle in her apron. If you look a little bit farther down, you'll see that there is a pin in her apron. So 2 clues, a needle and a pin, and there's one other important clue. Do you see that there's a red ribbon that's tied to something leaning against the table? Let's take a look at what's leaning against the table. and it looks like these. Can you guess what it is? Well, if you guess scissors, you are exactly right. So we see scissors, a needle, and a pin. So what do those three things tell us that her job is? Well, if you guess that she sews or is a seamstress, you are exactly right. So one guess could be that she was sewing and sewing and sewing for so long that she got tired and decided to take a break and grabbed her ball and decided to play a game of Knucklebones to take a break. Well, I hope you enjoyed looking at the game of Knucklebones. And as I promised, we're now going to figure out a way to make jacks on our own. So even if you don't have a rubber ball, even if you don't have 10 jacks, this is what we're going to do. We can make our own ball that we're going to throw up in the air. And I made two kinds to show you. One is made of rubber bands that I've wrapped around each other, and they slowly build up to make a rubber band ball. And I've also made a ball. You can make a ball out of a piece of paper. And if you squish the paper together like this, roll it, roll it, roll it in your hands, it can make a ball like this that you'll be throwing up in the air to play the game. So what are we going to use as jacks? Well, let me show you what I have gathered to use for jacks in my game. I found a clip, and I found a little shell, and I found an eraser off a pencil, and a little stone, and a little top to something. Just find 10 little things around the house that you can play with. But I don't recommend that you find anything flat like this little washer because it's too hard to pick up. So I hope to see you back here soon. Thank you for looking at this game with me. And now let me take a look at your questions and see if I can answer them. Hey everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this Art Break Live, and I'd love to hear your questions and your comments about the painting. Particularly, let me know if you liked the painting or not, what you liked about it, and write your comments and your questions, and I'll try to answer them. But I thought as you type, I would tell you a little bit about how to play the game of jacks. And that is, as I said, you play with 10 jacks. You throw them on the ground, and you can either bounce the ball to play it a little bit easier, bounce the ball and then pick up a jack, or throw them down again, and then you play twosies, which means you pick up jacks in groups of two, and then you play threesies. So that's how you play. I got a question if the ball was made out of bone, and it's not made out of bone. The ball's made of wood, and it looks just like this ball that I have in my hand. So let me know if you have any questions or comments about it. Let me tell you a little bit about rubber, and probably one of the reasons why this girl was not playing with the rubber ball. And that is, though rubber had been used for about 3,000 years in Central and North America, it had not really been used in Europe, hadn't arrived in Europe yet. And it was so special that people in the king's court would have rubber balls, but general people wouldn't have the balls. Jill asks if there is other variations on the game. I'm sure there are. They're just the ones that I know, sort of the standard game. Erin is asking, how old is the lady in the painting? You know, the artist doesn't tell us that, but because she's playing, I feel like she's fairly young since she's playing a game. Sarah says she loves playing jacks and they throw the ball in the air, and that they're going to try with other things, maybe seashells. That's fantastic, Sarah. I'm glad you're going to try a different way because there's so many things around the house that we can use to play the game. And let me ask Sarah, here's a quick question for you. Are you going to play with sort of the standard rubber ball like this? Are you going to play with a tennis ball? What kind of ball are you going to play with? Mike asks, how common was this game? Well, I'm guessing that it was fairly common because sheep's knucklebones were easy to come by. wooden balls were easy to come by. So I think it was fairly common. And I can say that there have been jacks found in ancient Egypt that were made of glass and metal. So it's been played for a really long time, and I know a lot of people have played it. So I can tell you just a bit more about the artist, and that is that he worked primarily in Paris, and that's where he worked. I can tell you one great thing, though, about what he loved to paint. He loved to paint children playing games. So there's a boy blowing bubble. There is a boy spinning a top. There is a girl reading a book, playing Knucklebones, playing with feathers. So if you look up on the internet, you can see a lot of his paintings. He's done all kinds of different things, but he's definitely played children playing games. Oh, you're welcome, Mike. Sarah says she has lots of regular balls, but we'll try with other balls too. Great, you could play with, try a rubber band ball and see how it goes. Veronica has put in, Veronica and I work together, and she's put in a link, Mike, to some of the history about Knucklebones, so you can read more about it. So what else? Does anybody have anything else to ask? I think I told you, as I said, that jacks have been made of many different materials, or knucklebones have been made of many different materials. But it's interesting, they're almost all, the ones that have been dug up by archaeologists are mostly about this big, so maybe about an inch big, but they have indents on both the top and the bottom. I guess that they're easier to pick up. So copper, stone, bone, glass, all kinds of things. So we have time for one or two more questions. Did anybody think when they first saw this that it looked like a photograph? It's great, isn't it? It was painted so long ago, before cameras were invented, but it's like he captured a moment in time when the artist did, when he showed this girl with the ball up in the air. It's like he captured a really fun moment, because we don't know, will she be able to get the knucklebones? Will the ball drop and fall out of her hands? It's a sort of a guessing game, but I love it that it looks like a photo. Let's see. Nancy, thank you. Jean Baptiste Chardin is the artist's name, and he was a French artist. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, and if you look on the apron on this side for you, you'll see that there's a little pin and a little needle there, and then her scissors below her tell us that she's a seamstress, but they're really hard to see. If you go back through and look at the video, you'll see a close-up of that. I can't tell you that, Jennifer. That's a really good question. Does the BMA have other paintings by the artist in the collection? Here's my guess. The answer, I'm going to guess, and I'll find out for you, is probably no. And here's why. The artist is so important that I believe if we had more paintings by Chardin, we would have them out. But this is what I'll do. I'll find out, and I will type in the answers for you. Damian, that's a really good question. It was fairly common for painters to paint ordinary people. They were also painting with portraits, kings and queens and important people, but also sort of everyday people like you and me. Was this unusual from a stylistic standpoint at this time? Ellen, do you mean because of, tell me what you mean by that. Do you mean because it was more detailed, or rather than a looser brush? Because it is stylistically, if we're talking about how it was painted, pretty common for the time. You guys are asking me good questions. That's a really good question, Sarah. I don't know when the BMA acquired the painting or from whom. Sometimes we're offered gifts of paintings and we accept that. And then sometimes if there's a hole in the collection and museums want a painting from a certain person, they'll go to an auction and paint it. Buy it. That's a good question, though. Good question, Jennifer. Okay. So when the museum opens, which we hope soon, so we can get back in and see real art, not just images of them. If you go in the museum and go up to the second floor to the European paintings wing, we have fabulous guards there that can sort of point you in the right direction. Or you can go to our visitor services desk, and the nice people there will tell you how to get to the painting. Anything else? I should have said one thing I didn't think of with her fabulous apron that she has on. We didn't see stains and we didn't see flour, but there's also another group of people who often wear aprons, and that is artists. And I should have said, do we see any paint on her? Was she an artist? And we don't. And she was a seamstress, but I should have said, do we see paint? Could she have been an artist? Any other things you'd like to add? No? Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed Art Break Live. We'll be back here in 2 weeks on Thursday, May 14th at 2 o'clock. And we'll be looking at other art. So please join us.